What's going on, guys? Sean Nalawani, SeanNal.com, and I figured with summer coming up, this would be a good topic to cover. So I want to talk a little bit about bodybuilding while on vacation. So what are some tips you can follow to either stay completely on track with your fitness plan while you're away, or at least not fall too far off track, depending on how you personally want to approach it. Now, the first thing that I would mention here is to keep in mind that a vacation is exactly that. It's a vacation. So it's all good that you are dedicated to your bodybuilding and fitness plan, but at the same time, if you get overly obsessive about it, then you can kind of end up defeating the purpose of the vacation in the first place, because you won't be able to truly relax and unwind and have a good time, because all you'll be thinking about is hitting the gym and hitting your macros and not doing things that are going to negatively impact your physique, and you'll just have that subtle background stress the whole time that you're away. Also keep in mind that exactly how closely you'll need to monitor your training and nutrition while you're away largely depends on how long your vacation is. For example, if all you're doing is going out of town for a few days or even a week, that's probably not going to be long enough to have any serious impact on your results, as long as you're not going totally off the charts, and eating 8,000 plus calories a day. Your body's levels of muscle mass and fat mass are not going to change significantly overnight. And letting loose a bit over the short term is highly unlikely to truly damage your physique. Not to mention that any minor damage that might occur in terms of fat gain or muscle loss, that can be really quickly reversed once you get back to your regular training and diet. Now, on the other hand, if your vacation is going to be lasting for a longer period of time, say 2 to 4 weeks or more, then it becomes more important for you to dial things in a bit more closely if you don't want to fall too far off track. So, some actual practical tips. On the training end of things, the first question that you need to ask is, do you really even need to work out while you're on vacation? A lot of people think that their muscles are just going to start rapidly wasting away the minute that they stop training. But the reality is that as long as your diet is somewhat on point, meaning that you're eating at least somewhere around your maintenance calories and you're getting enough total daily protein, which is pretty easy to do, as long as you're doing that, then muscle loss won't actually occur until about 2 weeks of inactivity. And even then, it's a pretty slow and gradual process from week to week. You'll probably notice a small visual difference. You won't be quite as full looking or quite as defined because of that period of inactivity where your muscles basically become less activated. Some of the inflammation goes down. There can be changes in glycogen and water levels. But that's not a result of actual losses in lean muscle tissue, and it will come back very quickly once you start training again. So if your vacation is only going to be for a short-term period of 1 to 2 weeks, and you'd prefer to just kick back and relax completely, then that is a perfectly viable option. And in fact, I actually recommend that people take a full rest week from the gym after 6 to 12 weeks of consistent training anyway, or at least a deload. So if you can time things out according to that, then there's no need to feel any guilt whatsoever for not training while you're away, because taking regularly scheduled rest weeks is probably going to be beneficial to you over the long term. Now, if your vacation is going to be over a longer period of time, or you just really enjoy hitting the gym and you want to keep that consistency going, then there are a couple of things you can do. So if you have access to a fully equipped gym and you're perfectly happy continuing with your normal workout routine, then you can go ahead and do that. But if you want to be as efficient as possible without detracting from your vacation time, then what you'll want to do is condense your workouts down to the most basic essentials. And I would say that the simplest way of doing that is with a full body routine done twice per week, or an upper-lower split also done twice per week. Even a full body workout done once per week will probably be enough to fully maintain your levels of strength and muscle mass, as long as you employ enough total volume and total intensity. So keep your workouts focused around, keep your workouts focused around the big basic compound movements that hit multiple muscle groups at the same time, so that you can get the most bang for your buck. You might not have access to the best gym equipment depending on where you're staying, so you just have to make the best of it, but you really only need a few basic movement patterns to train all the different muscles on your body effectively anyway. And even a set of dumbbells alone can probably accomplish that for you. And I'll put a sample vacation maintenance workout that you can check out in the description box below. And if you only have access to lighter weights, which is definitely a possibility if you're training at one of those lower quality hotel gyms, then just go ahead and use higher rep ranges to compensate. Even as high as 25 reps per set can still produce positive adaptations for mass and strength. I don't think going that high is going to be ideal on a long-term basis, of course. But again, if it's only over a shorter term vacation, then that's not going to be a big deal and it will still produce results for you. And then in terms of cardio, if regular cardio is a part of your training plan and you want to keep that up, again, if it's efficiency that you're after, then the simplest thing you can do is to just focus on HIIT cardio. So short duration, high intensity sessions using intervals. That's going to be way more efficient than a standard 45-minute moderate pace session. A solid HIIT workout can last anywhere from literally just a few minutes up to maybe 15 minutes or so, depending on how hard you're going. So you can get that out of the way very quickly. And if you want to be even more efficient, then just put your cardio session at the very end of your weight training workouts. Also keep in mind that any activity involving at least moderate physical exertion of some kind over a sustained period is going to burn calories and ultimately counts as a form of cardio. So depending on what sort of vacation you're taking, you might not need any cardio at all. If it's like a beach vacation where you'll mostly just be laying around and relaxing, then that's going to be a bit different. But if you're going to be out exploring and doing a lot of walking and sightseeing or outdoor activities like surfing or biking or hiking or things like that, then that can count as your cardio right there. And running on the treadmill at your hotel gym probably isn't going to be necessary. So on the training side, there's really not much to it. 2 full body workouts per week, or an upper body day and a lower body day, some optional extra HIIT cardio. That should only take up maybe 2 to 2.5 hours of total time for the week, which isn't much. And it will allow you to, for sure, at least fully maintain your physique. And if you have access to decent equipment, then you can actually still progress. Now, in terms of nutrition, this is usually where it gets a bit trickier because it's a harder thing to control. But again, this is a vacation, so I wouldn't recommend getting overly obsessive with your diet. My overall recommendation would just be 2 very basic things, and that would be to roughly estimate your calorie intake, keyword there being roughly, and make sure that you're getting enough total protein to maintain muscle mass. And protein will also help to regulate your appetite as well. You don't need to be tracking every single macro or trying to eat perfectly clean while you're away. As long as your calories are roughly around the right level and your protein intake is not going excessively low, that's going to be plenty of dietary tracking for a shorter term vacation. So if you're a more experienced lifter, then you can probably just gauge your calories based on hunger and just by eyeballing things. And if you're less experienced, then you might want to track things in a little bit more detail. You can look items up using an app like MyFitnessPal or another type of tracker. You can check the nutritional information for the restaurants that you're going to be eating out at if they have that available. And if you don't have access to that, then just do the best that you can. The numbers don't need to be perfect though, because again, going a bit off course with your nutrition in the short term is not going to be a big deal as long as it doesn't throw you off track in the bigger picture. So whether or not you even specifically log things is really up to you and just how serious you are about it. The number of calories that you aim for is going to depend on whether you continue training or not. So if you decide to take a break from the gym, then you'll want to stay closer to around your calorie maintenance level. Whereas if you are going to continue hitting the weights and your primary goal is to gain muscle, then you can eat in your regular calorie surplus. I don't think most people would want to be eating in a calorie deficit while they're on vacation. So if your current goal is fat loss, then I would recommend that you just treat your vacation as a diet break and eat at your maintenance level, assuming it's only going to be over maybe a 1 to 2 week period. One other tip that you can use if food is going to be a big part of your vacation and you maybe find it kind of hard to control yourself, is to move a higher percentage of your calorie intake into the later hours of the day. So if you eat a bit lighter at breakfast and a bit lighter in the earlier afternoon hours, then that's going to help to create a calorie buffer for later, where you can eat those higher calorie meals and drinks with less of a chance of going overboard. So that takes care of calories. And then for protein, if you are eating at least around your maintenance level and you're getting in 3 standard meals per day or more that are based around some sort of basic protein source, then there's a decent chance that you're probably going to get enough protein right there by default, since you really don't need to eat that much protein in the first place. You really only need about 0.8 grams per pound of body weight daily. But if you really want to be sure about it, then one thing that I do is to either bring some protein bars with me and or some protein powder, because that's just a very quick and easy way to be 100% sure that you're getting enough. So maybe a protein bar or a scoop of whey per day, just for some extra insurance. So those are some basic training and nutrition tips that you can follow, assuming you do want to keep things on track while you're on vacation. I would mention as well that there is another option here, and that is to actually just consciously allow yourself to go off track on purpose. If you're still in the beginning stages of your fitness plan and you just start fully binging during your vacation for a lengthy period, and you end up erasing a good portion of the progress that you've made, and that demotivates you and throws you off track in the bigger picture, then yeah, that's not going to be the best idea. But on the other hand, if you're a bit more experienced and you just say, screw it, I'm just going to go ahead and fully enjoy myself. I'm not going to train. I'm going to eat and drink whatever I feel like. Maybe I do gain 3 or 4 pounds of fat, but I'll just go ahead and diet it off for a week or two afterwards when I get home in order to burn it back off. That's a perfectly viable option as long as you know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and you feel that it's worth the trade-off. I mean, that's basically what I did when I went to Thailand last year, because I just wanted to enjoy myself, take some time off, and not worry about my training or diet for that period. I was there for about a month. I did 2 total workouts while I was away. I basically ate what I wanted. I drank and partied. I did lose a small amount of muscle and some strength, but I came home, went back to the gym, and after 2 to 3 weeks of regular training and eating, I was right back to normal and everything was fine. So that is an option if you do want to go that route. Or the other option is to actually diet for a week or two leading up to your vacation, because that's going to create basically a body fat buffer so that you can let loose a bit more without regressing in the big picture. Drop 3 pounds of fat leading up, gain 3 pounds of fat while you're away, and you will ultimately end up back at the same point. So again, just how much attention you pay to your training and your diet does depend on the length of your vacation. It depends on your experience level, how serious you are, and what your overall mindset is. And you have to find the right level for yourself. But I would say that for most people, in most situations, a good middle ground is probably best. And the tips that I've given in this video can help you achieve that. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this was helpful. If you are going to be vacationing this summer, if it was, make sure to hit the like button, leave your questions and comments below, and I'll do my best to get back to you. And make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on future videos. If you want to get instant access to my complete body transformation blueprint, which cuts through all the hype and BS and lays out all of my recommended workouts, eating plans, and supplement guides to help you maximize your muscle building and your fat burning results, then you can click the icon at the top of the screen here, or maybe it's actually on this side, or just go directly to btblueprint.com. The link is also in the description. The official website is over at seannall.com, and make sure to follow me on Facebook and Instagram if you aren't already for even more useful daily tips and updates. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.